another episode of the Book Fix Podcast, a podcast where we fix lives one book at a time, spooky edition. Mm-hmm. I'm your host, Cheli.
And I'm your host, Yajaira.
Happy October.
Happy October, Cheli. How do you feel? Have you ever had a house guest that you don't like?
That I don't like? Me? How do you feel? Have you ever had someone in your house that just doesn't fucking leave?
Me? You're like, yeah, actually I have. Really weird that you say that.
Whose house would we go to more? Was it mine?
Yours. Well, before we used to go to mine a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we would always eat Domino's.
We would always eat Domino's with pepperoni and bacon. And now I don't eat bacon. Well, I do, but not really.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I ate it yesterday, but so what?
But that doesn't count, though. I didn't enjoy it, so therefore it didn't count.
Oh, my gosh. Well, if we're talking about house guests, I don't know. I don't think so. It's not.
You have had a house guest that you didn't want around.
Well, I've had people. Oh, you're right. Oh my God. You dug into something I forgot about. Yeah, I guess I have.
Cheli used to have someone who would literally show up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I remember you told me that and I was like, does that mean you love her more?
I fucking hate her.
Why aren't I at your house at 4 a.m? If that was allowed, why aren't I there?
Oh my God. That's so. I guess I have. Now I'm angry. Like, the whole episode, I'm just going to sit like this. Like cross arms. Wait, can you hear me cross my arms? Hold on.
That really sold it.
So today we are going to be reading a, what is this called?
The Houseguest and Other Stories. Dun dun dun. By Amparo Dávila. Dávila.
Thank you.
Because of the acento.
Oh,
Vila.
Thank you. So we are not going to be talking about all of the stories.
We would encourage you to go read them. But we're going to be talking about at least 2 to 3, depending on how long this conversation goes.
Sounds good. So why don't we start by reading the first story? It's not the first one.
It's the second one.
Well, the one that this is named after.
It's The Houseguest.
You said it was bad. Yeah, Jaira's literally been singing Suddenly Seymour.
I'm sorry.
Since I was born.
Did you forget? We gotta stop singing. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so
is this another Punk 57? That's so funny.
I think that's just me when I'm buzzed. Okay, for real, guys. Now, okay.
You're the only one. You're literally the only one.
I have a short summary. Okay.
Okay, go.
Anyway, so the second story is titled The Houseguest. And the summary is, the houseguest follows a woman's concern over a strange guest her husband brings into their home. This guest has large, circular yellow eyes and a sinister, dark aura to them. He often watches and stalks the main character, but despite her pleas to her husband ensures her that this guest is completely harmless. After too many chilling incidents, the woman of the house decides to do something about this unwanted house guest before it's too late.
That was a really good summary.
Thank you.
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect out of this because I was like, oh, this is just going to be short horror stories. That's what I'm reading.
Yeah.
So I was very freaked out with this first one. The house guest, like you said, is someone who is invited because it was someone the husband took in. I don't know if he knew him beforehand.
Didn't she say that he just kind of like met him in town and then he just kind of brought him in? Yeah.
And like the husband does not have a good relationship with the wife. And does not
treats her like furniture. Just like just there for decoration.
So basically doesn't believe her when she's like, he's literally watching me while I sleep. And he's like, it's not that bad.
But he doesn't even do anything to you, though. And it's very sinister because when she is telling him, I'm very uncomfortable, she's like, well, you're going to have to get used to him. Get used to him or else. Like, or else what?
What are you going to do?
Like, he prefers this stranger who has this, like, dark aura to him than his family. But this creature or whatever he is, he only really stalks the main character. Like, that, only really her. He doesn't really pay attention to everybody else in the house, which is her kids and the cleaner. The cleaner's son.
Yes. So she lives with this man, and it's so unsettling that she doesn't even bother to like learn his name. So when he's around, they talk about him as if it's just like it's here again. Like he's here
just
again.
He.
Oh, you're right. He with a capital H. But yeah, like he's here again. He's watching, and he just stands in the corner. It's so
and it's creepy because it's like she's doing like little things in the house, like she'll be cooking, she'll be washing dishes, and he's just there like a shadow. And there was a moment where the shadow just kind of grew over her, and she just like screamed and ran away because he just shows up out of nowhere. He loves taunting her. And also the fact that he only eats meat and nothing else just kind of goes to show that he's just like a weird
guy
character. Yeah.
I do want to say that there's this one part that's mentioned when they're talking about like the things that he does. She talks about how she has to sleep with her bedroom left unlocked.
Yeah.
Because the husband comes back home late, and her husband always comes home late. And if it is found locked, he would have thought. And if it is found locked, he would have thought. ...
Yeah, so she couldn't lock the door because her husband would think like, oh, someone's in here then.
Yeah, I like
it's
how
very
that
controlling.
That's kind of a thing that happens a lot in this writing.
The ellipses.
Yeah, where it's like, yeah, I think other things kept him entertained as well. ...
Yeah.
Like it's never mentioned, but you're assuming like,
oh, this bitch is cheating.
She basically lives like this, and the turning point, I think, is when the cleaner Guadalupe, when her son is in a room and Guadalupe is gone, the main character hears yelling, like screaming. So she runs to the source and sees this man attacking Guadalupe's son, like straight up beating him up.
Wasn't he attacking Martin? That was the son's name.
Yes.
And then the woman of the house, I don't think she ever had a name, shows up, like pushes him away or beats him up with like a stick or something, because she like releases her anger, like pent up frustration that she didn't even know she had. She's just like beating him up to the point where she faints. And Guadalupe, which is the cleaner, shows up when she's already fainted, and her son is covered in bruises and cuts.
Yep.
Yeah. And so they take him to the hospital.
And it's Guadalupe stays, and I really like this sentence where it's like, Guadalupe stays because of her loyalty to the family and just like her affection for me and my kids.
Yeah.
Which is really sweet that they have that.
Yeah, and the protagonist also said that she wouldn't even blame her if she had left. Because this thing was so fucking creepy.
Oh, God.
But the way that the story progresses is kind of sad, because anytime that she tries to bring it up to her husband is almost like upset about it. Like, oh, you don't like him? Well, you're gonna have to get used to him.
It's funny because there was this one part where it says like, I think my husband likes him more than he likes me. And I was like, wait.
Is he maybe interested?
He is tall, dark, and mysterious.
With yellow eyes. Very handsome. But so the husband was going to go on a trip, right? And it was going to last a while. And so the main character knew that if she wanted to get rid of this house guest, that the only way she could do it was to act. Like, she had to do something. And she had to do it while he was gone, or else she wouldn't have another opportunity.
So this man, he slept very odd hours. So he wouldn't go to sleep until it was morning time, wake up like near night time or afternoonish, stay up super late. Yeah. So that was his schedule. So in the morning time, her and Guadalupe got a bunch of wood and basically shut his door. Like, they put wood all over.
They just like nailed him in.
How did he not hear that shit?
I don't know. See, it feels like creepy because he feels not human to me.
Yeah.
Whatever he is, he doesn't feel human to me. So maybe he's just really fucking sound asleep.
And he really, really reacted in a very non-human way, because for 2 weeks straight he was just pounding on the door,
like almost screaming, like putting his whole weight on it, just like crashing into the door. And he was just like whining and moaning, and she said that the cries were too much to handle sometimes, but that they just kind of like let it go on. Yeah. And it lasted like 2 weeks or so when they finally stopped.
And then even when it finally stopped, they waited 2 more days for like just in case. And then finally opened it up and saw that he was dead. So this story ends with, when my husband returned, we greeted him with the news of his guest's sudden and disconcerting death.
Yeah.
The end.
Of that short story, yeah.
Dude.
Oh my God. When I first read that, I was so creeped out.
This also like, oh God, it's such a weird time now where people can literally meet their roommates online with never ever like crashing into them or meeting them, you know?
But so, this didn't feel like the husband needed a roommate. It just kind of felt like the husband wanted to impose something on the wife.
I like you.
You know what? Your aura, kind of hot.
I came into the bar. You haven't said a word. I like that.
I love when people don't talk.
Stay mysterious. Stay mysterious, bitch. I know, just kidding. I love that. Love a man that can take a kiss. Oh my gosh. It's so weird to me, though, that the husband just didn't fucking care.
It kind of, okay, to me, it kind of felt like the way that the story was told was so, of course he didn't listen to her. Like, especially because I'm assuming this is before. I'm assuming the story takes place like in before time where husbands didn't really give a fuck about what their wives had to say. Yep. And it was very much like men were so passive to a woman's like issues of whatever it is that's going on in her life. So that's what it meant to me mostly. Like maybe it could have been anything, honestly, where the husband was just like, well, this is how it is and you're just gonna have to get used to it. But there was no love in her marriage. No. Even before this guest showed up, like there was a moment where she said like they never really had loving words to say to one another.
It really sucks too, because the only love that there was the love with the women and just their relationship of being there for each other, which I think really runs deep in Hispanic and Mexican families, because it's always like that. Men typically go out to work all day, so it's really the people who stay home plus the kids who build a relationship, not really with the father figure of the house.
Yeah, like the father figure is very absent, which is obviously what happened. He's absent in part of the story.
Yeah, I saw so you open a fourth one. I'm almost done. Wait, hold on. Drinking break.
Sorry. Anyway, let's not get too drunk.
I'm not.
Me.
I know, you're literally... I wish you could see how many bottles...
Stop. Don't call me an alcoholic right now.
No, but I'm just saying for sure. No, I'm kidding. We don't drink that much. We literally only drink when we're with each other.
But the last time we drank was a while ago.
But we drank a lot.
The last time, yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I think that time you helped me into bed.
That was the time where you were so drunk. But I dropped my drink and you told me the only thing you remembered was like, you were mopping? And then I went to sleep.
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden you were mopping. I was like, okay.
I have wood floors. You're going to get warped. But
anyway, okay, let's focus on the story. So... how did you feel about it? Like this short story?
I actually really liked this short story. I did write at the end, what was the point in the husband allowing for this man to even live here, though? Like, I just didn't understand that. But now that you're talking about it, you're right. Back then, men didn't care about what women experienced. If they said something was supposed to happen, then that's how it would happen. Yeah. Even if it was for a dumb reason.
Like their word was just law, pretty much.
This man probably wasn't even paying to stay there.
Yeah, he was just there, probably eating their food too.
Yup. I gave it a 4 out of 5. This short story. Yeah. I did really like the story. I think I would want to see what other people think about it, because I feel like there's more you can take out of the story, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I like that.
I really liked it too. I feel like I'd probably give it the same rating. When I finished reading it, I was like, damn, we need to talk about this one. This one was so fucking good. And then I feel like it made me feel like eerie, like like he was so eerie. I didn't even know what he really looked like, which
great. Is worse, because he is a guy. There wasn't anything demonic or spiritual or anything like that connected to the story. He's just a guy that's creepy. Why the fuck he eating so much meat?
Maybe he is demonic though.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
And maybe that's what caught the husband's eye. Like, wait.
Demons by Doja Cat. I kind of love it. Okay, so the next short story that we want to talk about is titled The Cell. I did write a short summary. Basically, The Cell is a story that follows Maria Camino, who appears to be restless, anxious, and depleted of energy, but her family doesn't really seem to notice. She's constantly on edge, afraid of something that appears to be lurking in her room in the dark. But she finds solace in a man named Jose Juan, and then they get engaged. But once they're engaged to be married, Maria begins to view her fiance similarly to the way that she views this like creature in the darkness of her room. Love that.
Vibe. I vibe with Maria at the beginning of this story because she's just kind of like, I don't fucking care about this shit. I just want to knit.
Yeah.
Hang out with my knit buddies. Like,
she doesn't have any knit buddies.
I don't want to hang out with my fucking sister Clara. The only thing that's claro in this relationship is that I don't want to hang out with you.
That means clear.
Thank you. Thank you for translating.
I felt really bad for Maria because in the beginning, I just felt very connected to her because in the beginning, her family did not notice at all that she was anxious.
Yep.
That she like came out of her room like 30 minutes too late or whatever it was. And I like that her mom waited until she got to the kitchen
to eat.
Before they started eating. But even though she was so fidgety and obviously there was something that was clearly bothering her because she had fucking bags under her eyes, Gucci bags, if you can believe it. Like
they're rich. Yeah.
Like they didn't really say anything to her. Like they didn't notice. And I just felt so bad for her.
And we figure out very early in the story that every night there's just someone who comes into her room and watches her.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's always anxiously looking at the clock, just like, oh my God, it's almost time. You know, like kind of like counting down the hours of the day.
And I'm thinking if it were me, no. Like, no. I would not go home. I would not go home. Because I'm just going to look at this guy and it's just like.
He's just like. I feel like this is during a time when you have to be home, though. Like, you can't leave the house unless you're married.
Yep.
So I completely understood the fact that she ended up finding like a solution in her head where her sister was with someone, and I think this person's brother cousin would show up as well, and they would be playing card games while Maria was knitting. Eventually she was like, you know what, I want to get closer to this guy. And she even said it that even though she was very shy, she still did it. So she started talking to Jose Juan.
Yeah. And Jose Juan was really sweet.
Yeah.
They were so like instantly clicked. And even she liked Jose Juan.
Yeah.
Like she felt the tenderness of the relationship. And she did want it to work. And very quickly he proposed to her. And it was around November-ish, I believe. And they had planned a wedding for January. And she was like, as much as I'd like to move it up so I don't have to see this guy anymore, the guy that goes into my room, I want to make it seem normal. So I just have to wait for January. But throughout that time while she's waiting, Jose Juan kind of gets kind of annoying.
Yeah, like she starts to describe the situation as like, I don't know, like to me it was like nails on a chalkboard. Like anytime he would speak, she was just irritated. She was obviously tired of him just being around her. And to me it was interesting because the way that she described this thing in her room was just the way that she started to describe Jose Juan, almost like the way that she was feeling, at least.
Yep.
It was like, oh, now she started to dread having to hang out with Jose Juan. And then almost like she would find solace in going back to her room for the night.
Like she looked forward to it.
Yeah, because she wanted to get away from this man.
And then when she figured out that Jose Juan was going to go to New York for like 2 weeks, I think.
Like for work, yeah.
That was the first time that Clara says in a very long time that she looked happy. Like she was joking around.
Was so
she was smiling. And then when she figured out that Jose Juan didn't end up going, she was so devastated.
I think because she was too happy, and he was like, I can't leave my girl.
Oh, look at her. She misses me.
She's going to miss me.
I'm going to do the Jose Juan thing
instead.
And not leave. I'm going to stay for this bitch. I mean, queen. He would never call her a bitch.
No,
he
never.
loves her.
He really did. And he seemed like such a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really devastating to me when she started to just hate him. Like, she really hated him.
Mm-hmm. So I think most of our conversation is going to come with the last 3 paragraphs of this story.
Okay, so go ahead and explain them.
I'm going to read them, but I'm going to pause throughout. So on New Year's Eve, December 31st, if no one knows, Senora Camino, her mom, prepared a splendid dinner. Only their closest family friends and the Olagubiels came. Clara looked beautiful and happy. They had decided, she and Mario, to hold a double wedding with, Maria and Jose Juan.
And so her sister.
Maria was pale and somber. She wore a close-fitting white garment on Italian brocade, long like a tunic. She hardly spoke all night. Everyone else enjoyed the dinner, but Maria knew very well where her only happiness was to be found. So does that mean she wanted happiness in being in her room?
I think so. Because it even mentions that the time.
Yep. And the party stopped. And the party was long and draining. The hands of the clock did not move. Time had stopped. Now, too, time has stopped. And then it's italicized. So I think this is her now thinking it. What a cold, dark room. It's so dark that day emerges with night. I no longer know when the days begin or end. I want to cry with the cold. My bones are frozen and they hurt. I'm always on top of the bed, flung aside like a rag doll, hunting flies, spying out the mice that helplessly fall into my hands. The room is filled with corpses of flies and mice. It smells of damp and putrefying mice, but I don't care. Let other people bury them. I don't have the time to. This castle is dark and cold, like all castles. I knew he had a castle. I'm guessing she's talking about Jose Juan. Yeah. How lovely to be a prisoner in a castle. How lovely. It's always night, and it's the guy. And he doesn't
she's talking about the other creature, right?
Yeah,
with
and he doesn't let anyone see me. My house must be very far from here. There was a huge fireplace in Papa's library, and I used to arrange and dust the books. I want a fireplace to warm myself up, but I don't dare mention it to him. I'm too frightened to bring it up. He could get angry. I don't want him to be angry with me. I didn't say a single word to those men who came. He could show up and catch me. I hid in bed and covered my face with the blankets. We're always together. Where are Mama and Clara? Clara is my older sister. I don't love them. I'm scared of them. Don't let them come. Don't let them come. Maybe they're already dead, and their eyes are open and shining like Jose Juan's that night. I wanted to close his eyes. It scared me to have them staring at me. His eyes were open, very wide, shining brightly. You'll be a beautiful bride, all white. The moon was also white, very white and very cold. And since it's always night, he comes whenever he wants. We're always together. If it weren't so cold, I would be completely happy, but I'm very cold and my bones hurt. Yesterday, he beat me cruelly and I screamed and screamed. Jose Juan got very cold. Very cold. I didn't let him fall, but rather let him slip down gently. He was bathed in moonlight and his eyes were staring. The rat's eyes are staring too. He went to sleep on the grass beneath the moon. He was very white. I was watching him for a long time. I'd like to lean out of that window and be able to see the other rooms. I can't reach it. It's very high and he could come at any moment and catch me since he comes any time, as often as he wants. He could get angry and beat me. That noise in the corner, it's another mouse. I'll catch it before he arrives, since once he comes, I won't be able to do anything. I'm so confused.
I'm a little bit confused too, and I was very confused when I finished reading it. That's why I really wanted us to talk about it. So the way that I took this story was there's this creature or person in her room who would show up in the middle of the night, right? Creepy, would watch her. She was anxious. She really wanted a way out. And the only way out for her was to get married. But then Jose Juan started feeling like the threat in her life now.
Yeah.
So at the end of the story, it almost feels, I don't know, to me, it almost feels like she's in a loop. I don't know how to describe it. Like, to me, it's like you go into her room and it's like whatever the situation is, she's just in a shitty situation. Yeah. So whether that be with this person, creature, whatever that's in her room or Jose Juan, like she's just a prisoner. Like, I think that's why it's called the cell, because she's always like in a cell. And then when she says like something about her mom and Clara are dead or something, like maybe her reality is twisted, so she doesn't really understand like what's real in her life.
Yeah. I mean, she put herself out there to the point where like it wasn't her what she was doing.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt that she would have gone a little crazy. So I feel really bad for her. And I know this was mentioned in another book that we read, but because we are reading a lot of stories that take place with Latino, Hispanic families, women weren't really valued. So their freedom only existed in the barriers that men created.
Yeah.
You know, so she's over here like, this is as much freedom as I'm gonna get. But now I don't want to marry Jose Juan because literally all he talks about is furniture, the house, the carpet, furniture, the house, the carpet. So she fucking hated that shit. But it was like, but I mean, I'd rather go home. And then she goes home and it's like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I'd rather be over here. And she can't find somewhere that she prefers.
There's no winning for her.
No. And I'm confused with when there was a part where she was talking about Jose Juan and the moon and then how he had turned, like, it was like, yeah, he's looking at me. If it weren't so cold, I'd be completely happy, but I'm very cold and my bones hurt. Yesterday, he beat me cruelly and I screamed. Jose Juan got cold, very cold.
That's why to me, it feels like the timeline feels off to me, because Jose Juan didn't seem like someone who would do that.
No.
When she was getting to know him or even when she was marrying him. So that's why I'm like, okay, I don't understand if she's just living in this world where she's just always suffering, even if it's not real. Like, I'm not sure exactly what's happening to her, but it makes me feel very unsettled.
It makes me unsettled too, because now you don't know which part is happening from who.
Yeah.
It's just happening.
Yeah. And it sucks for her because she's trapped.
And her mom and sister aren't going to notice. No one's going to notice.
No, because from the very beginning, they never noticed that something was obviously off with her.
That's so disgusting that it's very, very possible that back then, even probably today, that people just watch you sleep. Hell no. Hell no. I am not. Oh, hell no. That's why my windows locked. Doors double locked. Like, hell no. I gave this a 3.9 out of 5.
Okay.
I really did like reading this story.
I really liked it too. I think I would give it like a 3.
It's crazy because like both the stories that you really wanted to talk about both had to do with someone being watched.
Yeah, stalking to me is just like, well, they're all related.
It's very unsettling.
All 3 of them are related to stalking, because to me that's just like fucking creepy, because really there's not much that you can do about it, because it'll just keep happening. And it just kept happening for them.
And it's funny because like, well, not funny, but the character who is being stalked, although their life is hell, the life of everyone around them still goes on. So they're dealing with a lot, and it's kind of like,
it's very isolating. And it's depressing.
Yeah. And in the first story, I mean, the woman of the house tried to talk about it and nothing came out. Like, nothing came out of her voicing how she felt. And then in this story, they tried to talk about it. Maria didn't try to talk about it.
She didn't.
But the outcome was the same.
Yeah.
Nothing came out of it.
Because nobody noticed. Nobody noticed that something was off with her. And it makes me so sad.
So our third one is also a stalking one.
Yeah.
It's called Musique Concrète. This story has to do with a woman named Marcella who is really going through it. Her friend...
She meets up with an old friend.
She meets up with an old friend that she used to be really close to that kind of had a crush on her too.
Little bit.
And he's a little concerned because this friend of 20 years that he has... for some reason, looks like she's going through something.
To me, this story was just interesting from the start, because Sergio sees Marcela and is like, oh my God, is that Marcela, my old friend who I used to like play bingo with every night?
Yeah.
With her husband, Luis. But he notices that something's off with her. Like, she looks upset. And he tries to tell her, like, hey, we should meet up, like, grab some coffee, reunite. reunite the whole gang. And so she's like, yeah, sure. And so eventually they meet up together and she reveals to him, Luis cheated on me. And Sergio's just like, Luis?
Lulu?
Lulu? He would never.
No, Lulu would never.
Are you sure?
When me and Lulu dated.
Imagine that's what happened.
But he's so shocked. But he gets to a point where like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? Because he kind of wanted to approach Luis, but then he was like, it's none of my business to solve this. They have to talk about it. I can't do anything. So he just kind of sits with this.
Yeah, but he thinks about it constantly. Like he'll be at home like shaving and he's like, damn.
Marcela really going through that shit.
Marcela's really upset. Damn. And I used to love her a little bit, so I feel like I should
using
do
my
something.
Harry's. Yeah. Is that what it was called? The brand?
Yeah, I think so.
Sponsored. No, we're not.
I wish. But then doesn't he get a phone call from Marcela? And she's like, there's something I didn't tell you.
No, she's waiting in his like lobby of where he lives.
Oh yeah. She's waiting for him, right?
And she's just like, I didn't tell you something, but the woman that my husband is cheating on me with is everywhere. Yeah. She's watching me, bitch.
She's stalking me. She's following me around. She has this like bulging eyes. Like her eyes are so big and bulging, and the way that she looks at me is so scary. And just everywhere that I'm at, she's there. And like even when I'm sleeping, I can't even fucking go to sleep because it's like I can feel her watching me and like getting closer to me. And as soon as she's like about to doze off, she can almost feel her breathing on her. And obviously Sergio is just like, wait. What? No, there's no way she's watching you. Like this must be a coincidence. Like maybe she just happens to be in the neighborhood or something. Like she's just walking around.
How's my girl Marcela doing?
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe she's just walking around. I don't know. So he tries to like calm her down, but Marcela is agitated. She obviously has not gotten any sleep for like the past week or so. And Sergio tries to like calm her down, but also he doesn't really understand the severity of it.
Yes. I thought at this point Sergio was going to be like, come sleep over.
You know what? I expected that too. You know what I thought was going to happen? I thought she was going to sleep over and then he would start feeling like someone was watching him.
Ew.
That would have been amazing.
I hate that.
That's what I wanted.
I did want him to take that. Like, I did want him to look out for her, but he didn't. She ended up going home and I'm a little confused with this because it's a frog. I don't fucking get it because she's being watched, bulging eyes. Luis is cheating on her. Oh my god! But then
that bitch, Luis.
But the thing that was watching her was a frog. It was croaking. Thank you.
No, she was just a croaking bitch.
No, it was a frog.
No. Maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember.
She was just a bitch that said ribbit sometimes. Is that so wrong?
Who does
Love sitting on lily pads and shit.
Who doesn't say ribbit every now and then?
No, it was literally a frog. The toad doesn't exist. Or rather, toads do exist, of course. But not the one you think. Not her. It's just a normal toad that's gotten into the habit of coming to your window every night. But,
okay, is that what she said or he said that?
He said that to her. But and then it's like, you don't understand, Sergio. It's hard to explain. That's why I hasn't told you. I didn't. I still don't know how to say it.
Okay, but wasn't that just his way of trying to explain
why there's croaking?
Yeah, like what was happening to her.
I don't think so. I think this bitch was just scared of a frog.
No, because then explain the ending.
He kills a frog.
No.
Yes, he does.
No.
Who does he kill?
He kills my good friend, Sebastian. What the fuck was Sebastian? What was her name? No, what was her name?
Velia?
Oh, Velia. Okay, so Velia. Okay, so basically Sergio was like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And he goes to Velia's apartment. I forgot how he figured out where she lives. He knocks on the door. She's like creepily opens the door, lets this man in. And then he starts to hear the croaking, no? And then he starts to feel like, oh my God, unsettled a little bit because she was looking at him funny. And he was like, damn, her eyes really are bulging. Fuck. And just everything about it was just so fucking creepy. And so he grabs scissors and starts fucking like plunging them. Maybe I read this wrong. But anyway, to me, it was like he was just like to Velia. And then he leaves, and then doesn't he call Marcela, and he's like, babe, I fixed it for you. You don't have to worry about nothing. You can sleep tonight. Because she hasn't slept in like a month.
When he walks out onto the street, it's already dark. He turns the corner and sees Velia's car with Velia waiting for him inside it. Before joining her, he stops in a hole-in-the-wall shop, buys cigarettes and dials a number. Yes, it's me. You can sleep in peace now, my darling. Tonight and every other night. The toad will never bother you again.
Oh, wait.
That's why I thought he fucking saw a frog and was like, yeah, come over here, bitch. Ribbit, what?
Wait, what?
I thought he killed a frog.
Wait, now I'm confused because he was with Velia. That makes it almost creepier. Wait. I'm so confused.
Velia, wait in the fucking car. Like, walks towards a swamp.
Wait, but was it...
Comes with a... Got it, bitch.
Wasn't he with her, though? Wait, I'm very confused.
He was with Velia.
Okay, hold on.
Because it was like, oh, I'm very worried about Marcela. About who? Marcela, Luis's wife. I smile. Sergio turns around, turns on the radio, but doesn't lower the volume as if the noise doesn't bother her and she doesn't even notice.
No, but then he says Marcela's right. Her eyes are popping out of their sockets. Her lips are lined, drawn straight across her enormous head. Not just head, her enormous head.
Big ass head, bitch.
She's inflating herself with silence, with the words she hasn't said, the words she swallowed. And like... he's freaked out by this girl. And then he says, I know she's getting ready to jump on me, swollen, croaking, moving heavily, clumsily.
Mm-hmm. So maybe Velia waiting in the car is like her body waiting in the car.
Maybe, because then it says the desperate croaking grows weaker, as if it were sinking into the dense, dark pool while blood stains the room of the floor of the room.
How does this bitch sound if she's croaking?
I don't know.
No, bitch.
Well, why would he be sweating if it's a fucking toad? He's sweating here.
That bitch was big. Like just punching a fucking toad. This toad got hands. It's like punching back.
Oh my god.
You're right, it was Velia.
Right? It was Velia, right? Okay, I thought it was going crazy now. Oh my god. Okay. I feel like the ending is kind of confusing though, because it says that he gets right next to Velia. Why would he have her body though? Why would he move the body from the apartment and put it in the car? Like he's going to get rid of the body?
I think so.
Oh my god, because he loves Marcela.
Wait.
Oh my god. Dude, we've been wanting romance. We got romance.
I love it. I'm going to bury her with the frogs.
Oh my god.
Put her on a giant lily pad and just send her.
Just send her off.
Bye, Diane. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Don't sing that song to me. As a gleek, I will cry.
You're not a gleek.
I was. What are you talking about?
Are you still?
Not anymore, but I was.
Okay, I know. It's okay. It runs deep, I guess.
Anyway, okay. So this story. How did you feel about this story? I love how you just put toad question mark.
Murdered the toad? I felt like this played a lot with paranoia.
Yeah.
Because it was never mentioned that it was her.
No, but it was though.
Are we sure?
I believe Marcela. Believe
can
women.
You imagine, you're out eating with your friend and it's like, wait, I never noticed, but you have bulging eyes. I fucking
Why
hate
would
that
she
about
be
you.
so paranoid over a toad though? She caught her husband cheating and the mistress is just fucking stalking her. Why would she see a toad and be like, damn, that looks like the mistress? That looks just like her. She's got her eyes.
Like her. And green and shit. I don't know. I think maybe the croaking. I just thought it was like paranoia. Like maybe when she saw them.
Have you ever seen The Grudge? That's what I've pictured with croaking.
I just felt I thought she was just a valley girl. So her croaking was like wait, Sergio.
Oh my god,
like, Sergio.
Sergio.
That's so crazy. I fucking hate Marcela.
She's not even all that.
I know that's what I thought it was. Ribbit. Babe, I love when you ribbit. I love when your throat just ribbit. I hope you're watching this in video.
I know, seriously. You need to.
I can't open my eyes.
I can't either. Anyway, So to me, this story was so fucking unsettling. And especially, I love that Sergio ended up being the house guest because he was at Velia's, right? He was at Velia's.
Oh, full circle.
Yeah, he was the house guest in the end.
Mm-hmm. And then after he killed Velia, he went to a bar and was like, I'm just gonna go drink and stuff. And he just killed someone, so his eyes are like yellow, and then he meets someone and starts living in their house. It's the start of the first story, the house guest. Full circle.
Oh, wait. I kind of love that. Yeah. No, that's not what happened.
Well,
I felt like the story was very creepy, especially when he went into her home. I was like, bitch, why are you at her home? So that part to me was very creepy.
Well, now it makes more sense to me. I thought he murdered a toad.
Oh my God. Why would he murder a toad?
I don't know.
People croak. You know that, right?
People croak.
You know what croak means? It means...
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, whoa. Well, she croaked.
Yeah.
My last yeah. I think I would give this one a 4 out of 5. Now that I know it wasn't a toad that died.
I fucking love this one. This one to me was just like, damn, that was unsettling. Mm-hmm. And then I feel bad for Marcela. But I kind of like that it wasn't in Marcela's point of view. Like, it was just like an outsider that didn't believe her. And was like, you know what, girl? I'm going to get to the bottom of this one.
Yep.
Because he loved her a little bit.
Yeah, he did. They had something. They talked about how Sergio and Marcela had, like, innocent kisses.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty much it. Like, nothing ever came out of it. Mm-hmm. So, I think...
Wait, but how did you feel about the story?
I liked it. I literally thought he murdered a toad. Like, I thought he became paranoid. It's like, fucking green bitch.
but I've seen Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, kick this bitch over the fence. Like, I thought that was what happened. But now that I know he killed Velia, now I don't think she was the one that cheated. Like, I don't think so.
Why?
Because it never mentioned it. And because...
But why was she looking like that? Bulging eyes and such.
That bitch just looked like that.
No. But then it also said her, like, creepy ass smile. Remember her?
Okay, anyone can smile like that. Can you imagine?
It was like her enormous head.
Okay, anyone can look like... It's not Velia's fault she kind of looked toad-like.
Have you seen Smile?
Yes. No, I haven't, but I know that. Wait, I know that.
She's just posing. Okay, you know it? That's great. Love that. Anyway, did you find it creepy, though?
I did find it creepy. I think I would give this one a 3, though, out of 5 in Spookometer. And probably also in rating.
Okay. I think I would give it like a 4.
Okay, valid. So there's one more short story in this, what is this called? A collection of stories called The Funeral by Julio and Aurora Cortázar. And this one is weird. So I just want to talk about this one because of the ending. So this story centers around a man who wakes up in the hospital and basically figures out that he does not have much time left to live. But this shit don't fly with him because this bitch a bit of a workaholic.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I'm dying. Yes, I have kidney failure and dialysis doesn't exist in this time. But who's going to be telling my bitches when to work?
Who's going to keep everyone in check?
I need to go back to work.
As a workaholic, I feel seen.
Thank you, valid. So he is basically like, he goes through this depression because it's like, I'm just stuck here and everyone pities me, but I'm the boss. I'm a CEO, bitch. Like, I was supposed to be working, but he can't.
Yeah.
So then he develops, I guess, like a weird habit in this. And his weird habit is the fact that he's planning his own funeral because that becomes his work all of a sudden. That's what he focuses on.
I think he's just someone who has like an addictive personality.
Right? Because it's weird because he talks about like, okay, I'm going to have my funeral here. And he talks about different funerals he's been to. But he's like, no, but I'm that boss ass bitch. I want to show up in my fucking coffin spinning, bitch. I want my wife to hold up one finger and like a basketball spin me in while tears are streaming down her face and my 3 beautiful sons are beatboxing.
Sons?
He had sons. So that's all he wants. Is that so much to ask for?
Kind of. I feel like that's a lot of...
And I want Seal, singer-songwriter Seal, to come up with a kiss from a rose on the grave. Oh, like he just wants that man to come in and sing for him. But all of a sudden that's bad?
Yeah.
No. Doesn't stand for it. But it's weird because that's the whole story. It's literally him planning his funeral. And then at the end he's like, but I want 2 more things. I want to be able to walk amongst the people and visit an old girl that he used to like. And I want to do this without anyone noticing. So while he's, I think, in hospice at home, so he's about to pass, he sneaks out and basically walks amongst the street and ends up accidentally walking to like a funeral that's currently going on. And he's like, ooh, nice touch. Ooh, they have... I can't think of the word. Ooh, Jump in the Cadillac by Bruno Mars. Like, it's looking pretty good. But then he sees himself.
Yeah.
And it's his funeral.
It's one of those where it's like, bitch, am I dead right now?
And that's literally how it ends.
Am I dead?
What did you think the theme of this story was? Because I feel like I know.
I just kind of, okay, off topic. I kind of like stories where you're not 100% sure if the character is dead or not. Because there's this one story that I don't remember the title of, but I remember that Liam Neeson is in it. And he basically worked at a mortuary. And he was the one who would like clean up the bodies, put on a little bit of makeup, dyed their hair if the family wanted him to. And he would be talking to these dead people. But then stuff started happening where you're not sure if they're actually dead or not. So I just kind of love like that sort of theme of like mystery of, because it's like unsettling. Like, are you actually in the afterlife or not? But to me, I'm not 100% sure what the theme is of this one, but I feel like to me it felt very unsettling because he was a workaholic and he became fixated on on preparing his funeral, and then at the end he's almost like attending his funeral or seeing it at a distance.
So the reason I want to talk about this one, because I feel like the spookometer level for me on this one out of 5 was a 5. I don't like this one. Like spookometer 5, rating probably 5. I would never read this shit again.
Why?
Because I hate the idea of like, I don't want to read a story of someone who missed their own death because of their hyperfixation. Because I feel like that runs true for a lot of families when dealing with grief. Like you miss out on a lot because you're unwilling to see what's happening and just enjoy the moment. So I fucking hated that shit. And I think that's what happened to him. Like he all of a sudden woke up at the hospital and didn't get to enjoy his rest before his final moments because he decided to do something else. And then at his final moment, missed his final moment because he was doing something else.
Dude, that is amazing. I don't know. Like it felt really sad to me that this is how the story ended.
Yeah, it's sad to me too. And like we have to consider too, and it's not the same for every family, but many Hispanic families, mostly those that are in America, are lower income. And you can't afford funerals like this. And the fact that he spent all of his energy to do that, but not value the people around him, value his rest, value his time, and instead focused on that and missed it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me sad. And I don't think, although I really like the story, and like I said, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. I don't think I would read this again because I don't like the way it makes me feel.
I think I would agree with you. Even when I got to the end, I was like, damn. It's like being unsettled for a whole different reason because I could see this happening.
Yeah. I could see it happening too. Not in the way that I can see someone in my life being a ghost and watching their own funeral. Yeah. But I can definitely see someone working till their last moments. Mm-hmm. Which sucks.
Yeah.
And he did it he was not selfless. Mm-hmm. You know, he was selfish. He did it for himself. Mm-hmm. He wasn't thinking about how this affected his family at all. And I don't know, it seemed like he had a very loveless marriage on his side.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
He's just too preoccupied thinking about chambeando.
Dude, the chamba. You're right. Never mind. I switch how I feel about this. But
I think I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, nice.
I think out of these, my favorite was
Houseguest.
Houseguest was really good. Yeah, I think Houseguest would be my favorite.
I think this one was my favorite, The Funeral, but I don't want to read it again. But out of all of them, I would read Houseguest again.
Yeah.
Just to see what other people think about it. I think I would recommend it. Mm-hmm. But this book, Houseguest, has several collections. So I do recommend you read it because there's so much more that we didn't talk about. But thank you for everyone who is listening to us on audio form, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on. If you can please leave a rating. Mm-hmm. Of 5 stars. I think that's good.
Yeah, that would be really, really nice. I think it's definitely helped us out a lot because more people have given us 5 stars. Mm-hmm. So I think we've just been recommended more because we've definitely seen an influx of people who have been listening to us.
Yeah. So if you can do that, and please leave a review if possible, recommending to us what you want us to read next.
Preferably romance or fantasy because we do have our spooky books already set. But I think we would just integrate like maybe one mystery horror here and there.
Yeah. Although we do tend to go more for romance, I'm glad that we're diversifying what we read.
Yeah.
You know, it feels nice. I feel like a reader.
Yeah, it feels fun because it's different.
Mm-hmm. If you want to support us and actually have a little bit of extra money, what can you do?
So we did make a Patreon, and at the moment it really just serves as a way for our listeners to let us know that you really enjoy what we do. I mean, we do 2 episodes a week most times. And yeah, if you just are interested, you can find us on patreon.com/bookfix.
And if you would like to follow us on social media, we do have I skipped one. We do have a Instagram and Threads under the Book Fix Pod, and a TikTok, an active TikTok under the Book Fix. If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we post every Tuesday and Thursday. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Why don't we end with reading a review of this book?
Okay.
Why don't you look up the bad review? Because I know how much you love the unhinged ones.
I feel like you find better ones, but okay.
So this one comes from Kus on Goodreads, who gave it a 5 out of 5. And it is written in Spanish, so I'm going to try my best to translate it.
Okay.
I believe that it has become my favorite anthology for horror. There are multiple of my favorite authors in this. If I could give this 1 million stars, I would. But I'm going to have to settle with recommending this book until my last days. What a marvelous thing. Thank you.
And I have a 1-star review from Kylene. This is coming from Goodreads. They wrote, I picked this up expecting to be chilled, spooked, other words like that, and was so endlessly bored and muddled. A couple stood out, but otherwise every story in this collection feels the same. Tactics used again and again to create an air of mystique by vaguely referencing what is going on to the point of confusion. A curious he or she or it doing strange things but never properly explained. Undoubtedly to let the imagination run wild. But when that's the shtick of every story, you just end up rolling your eyes.
Okay, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Drunk?
Ding. Wait.
Ooh, is
Shut up. Get the little.
I'm opening my next bottle. Wait, hold on.
Remember when we wanted to do ASMR for one day and see what what people would.
Dude, I'm saying we have to do it for our April 1st.
That's what we wanted to do for our last.
What if we upload an episode? Because I don't know if people check the minutes. So what if we just treat it like a normal episode, but only make it 10 minutes? You know what I mean? So it's like, hi everyone, welcome to the Book Fix Podcast, a podcast where we change lives.
Ew.
One book at a time. I'm your host.
And I'm your host. Cheli. I feel like it's very hard for me to stay quiet.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
It's so hard for me to stay quiet. I feel like I naturally just like go.